My friends, we gotta talk about have altcoins hit a relative bottom. And we can actually look at this with Google Trends and how much people are searching for altcoins. Now, a lot of altcoins have lost a lot of value since their highs in January. But I think like altcoins, it's all about FOMO, and it's all about like if people are pumping and dumping, if there's volume, if people are searching for information about altcoins. So there's actually a lot of things we actually can look at in regards to our altcoins. So let's actually take a look at Google Trends. You can see the like I use Bitcoin for like how people are interested in Bitcoin. Crypto is just overall interest in Bitcoin and altcoins. If you look at the crypto search term, we kind of bottomed out in April already. And although we haven't really moved up since we bottomed out in April, we had a little bit of a resurgence in early May, but then we just kind of like went back down. We never really reached the depth of August 25 through of August, September of last year. So I think we kind of bottomed out at around 26, and now it's back up to 30. And we never really went down into the teens for basically altcoins. Now, the web search is one thing, but the YouTube search is another thing altogether. The YouTube search actually is like who's looking for more in-depth info. People that are looking for altcoins on YouTube are usually generally people who have bought the altcoin already and are hoping for positive news, or they haven't bought the altcoin and they're really, really thinking about buying the altcoin, so they want more in-depth information. And that's kind of what YouTube search kind of is. So you kind of look at this right now. You look at a YouTube search. YouTube search is lower than last summer before the run up. But you can see we've sort of evened out toward this last term. And like in the last segment between the last 2 weeks, we've actually gone up a little bit. I've also seen my channel, like the tide has stopped going down and has started to slowly come up, although it is still very, very low. But crypto basically encompasses the entire entire space. But and another way you can search is for individual coins. You look at Cardano, right? For instance, you look at web search for Cardano. It's definitely evened out since the beginning of June, and it's kind of like pretty much at the same place or slightly higher than it was back in 2024. You look at YouTube search for Cardano. Same thing. It kind of like bottomed out at the beginning of June and hasn't really gone down anymore. And it's not quite reached the bottom of like October of 2024, just before the run up on altcoins. So I think like if you look at Cardano, you look at XRP, because of the lawsuit stuff on YouTube search, it's actually gone up a little bit, although it's still very low. And it is below the bottom, about the same place as it was in August of 24. But if you look at XRP, like even though the interest is still low, it's like starting to come up from 24.5 all the way up to 34 last couple of months. This is because like there's more lawsuit information again. And if you look at web search for XRP, it's kind of flatlined out since beginning of June as well. So looking at the data, just looking at the data from both Cardano and XRP, you can actually see that like the altcoins have really like flattened out and they're not losing any more search volume. Now, if you actually look at Bitcoin right now over the last 12 months, you can see that Bitcoin has kind of evened out, but it's still trending slightly downward, but it's also evened out since June. So I do believe and Bitcoin has actually started to come up since early June in this. And I do think like that's partially because Jerome Powell put Fed interest rate cuts back on the table. But I also do believe it's because like overall, like we've gone low enough where people are looking at altcoins to actually buy to make profit, because I do think the volatility in Bitcoin has actually come down enough where people see that like just buying and holding Bitcoin may not make them the returns they want. So the altcoin discussion with all the regulations that favor crypto, and plus, maybe some people are seeing the trade war calming down. I don't really see that, but some people are seeing the trade war calming down and all of that. And they're looking at that as a good sign for crypto. Don't blame them at all for looking at it that way. I don't know if I really agree with that specific assessment, but I do actually think based on the trends and the search data, I do think altcoins may have actually hit a bottom. And Bitcoin like slowly bottoming out or coming back up, especially on YouTube search, means more people overall are getting interested in crypto with the ETFs and being able to get into crypto in different ways. I'm seeing a little bit of a rebound on my own channel, and like that might be the best news I've had in a while for altcoins. Because altcoin bull runs require people searching for information, they require FOMO, they require Bitcoin to go up, and I think all three of these statistics are actually coming together. Now, it'll probably take a couple more months for this to really formulate, but right now at least we have really, really good forecasts, because I do think we're going to get a rate cut or two. And I do think like good regulations are actually coming in. And I think Circle's IPO has like raised the bar for interest in crypto for the time being at least. And I do think we're heading like into the summer and the fall on slightly better foot than I thought. I'm still not super bullish about alts, but I think they're going to kind of like stop dropping. They might drop a little bit more compared to Bitcoin, but overall, like in monetary value, unless Bitcoin falls off a cliff, I do not think altcoins are going to really be dropping that much anymore. I think we've sustained the majority of losses, and hopefully we can get back on track soon. And I think like the interest trends are starting to turn back around. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.